The music stops, the lights dim, and just when fans thought the dust had finally settled, a shock update rocks the entire universe of love and hip-hop. Whispers turned into rumors, rumors exploded into leaks, and now the question burning through every timeline is this: is the cast changing right before our eyes? And more importantly, are Kirk, Rasheeda, and Yandy still in, or already out? Fans are shocked, insiders are scrambling, and emotions ran high as alleged behind-the-scenes drama spilled out of closed-door meetings and into the streets of Atlanta and New York. One minute, producers were excited about the future, and the next, phones were allegedly slammed down, contracts left unsigned, and long-standing relationships pushed to the breaking point. Viewers woke up to cryptic Instagram posts, unfollow buttons being hit at lightning speed, and silence from the very people who usually have something to say. And in the world of love and hip-hop, silence is never accidental. At the center of this storm stands Kirk Frost and Rasheeda, a couple whose marriage has already survived cheating scandals, secret babies, and public humiliation. But sources claim this time feels different. Friends close to the couple say Rasheeda was done playing strong, while Kirk was allegedly overheard saying, "If they want to cut me loose, I'll burn the whole bridge myself." The family was left divided, with allies choosing sides and fans asking whether loyalty has finally run out. Then there's Yandy Smith, a fan favorite, a boss, and a woman who never backs down. Or so we thought. Rumors suggest Yandy walked into a tense meeting expecting respect and walked out feeling blindsided. One insider claims she whispered, "After everything I built, this is how it ends." That single sentence sent shockwaves through the fandom. Was Yandy pushed out, or did she make the bold choice to walk away before being forced? Social media erupted. Fans demanded answers. Comment sections turned into war zones. Some cheered the possibility of fresh faces, while others accused the network of disrespecting the legends. Old clips resurfaced. Past arguments suddenly felt like foreshadowing. And now, everyone wants to know what really happened when the cameras stopped rolling. Because if these rumors are true, love and hip-hop may never look the same again. And this is only the beginning. The cameras were supposed to be down, but the tension was still alive, thick enough to cut with a knife, as whispers spread through the halls connected to love and hip-hop. What fans never saw was the private meeting that allegedly set everything in motion. Sources claim it started calm, almost polite, with smiles that didn't reach anyone's eyes. Producers spoke about new directions and fresh energy, words that sounded harmless until they weren't. Chairs shifted, phones buzzed, and the room slowly filled with the kind of silence that only comes before an explosion. Everyone knew something big was coming, but no one expected the first name to land like a bomb. When Kirk Frost leaned back in his chair, crossed his arms, and let out a dry laugh, those closest to him knew that laugh. It was the same one fans had seen before arguments spiraled out of control. Insiders say Kirk asked one simple question, low and dangerous, "So what you really saying?" And in that moment, emotions ran high. What was framed as a conversation about ratings quickly turned personal. Old mistakes were brought up, past scandals dragged into the light like receipts nobody wanted to read again. Kirk allegedly snapped back, saying he had bled for the show, embarrassed himself for the show, nearly lost his family for the show. Fans are shocked hearing that he felt used, like the drama that once made him valuable had suddenly turned him into a liability. Across the table sat Rasheeda, quiet at first, her face unreadable, but those who know her say that silence was louder than any outburst. This wasn't just about TV anymore. This was about dignity. Sources claim Rasheeda finally spoke when someone suggested that her storyline had run its course. That phrase alone was enough to make the room freeze. She allegedly reminded everyone how many times she had stood tall while the world judged her marriage, how many times she showed up when others walked away. Fans watching from the outside would later say emotions ran high because Rasheeda wasn't just fighting for screen time, she was fighting for respect. Outside that room, word began to spread fast. Assistants whispered. Phones were checked every 5 seconds. And somewhere in New York, Yandy Smith was getting calls that made her pause mid-sentence. Yandy, known for keeping it together no matter how messy things got, reportedly felt blindsided. Sources claim she wasn't even supposed to be part of that meeting at first, until someone decided her name needed to be included. When she finally joined, the energy shifted again. Yandy allegedly questioned why conversations about her future were happening without her present. That alone sparked a back and forth so intense that one insider said it felt like years of unspoken resentment pouring out all at once. As the discussion spiraled, old alliances cracked. Friends who once defended each other suddenly grew quiet. Fans would later notice that certain cast members stopped liking each other's posts almost instantly. Emotions ran high as accusations flew. Was loyalty only real when the cameras were rolling? Was family just a word used for marketing? Kirk allegedly accused the network of pushing narratives that hurt his kids. Rasheeda reportedly fired back that she was tired of being painted as strong when she was exhausted. The family was left divided, not just on screen but in real life, with relatives calling, texting, begging them to walk away before things got worse. Meanwhile, Yandy's frustration took a different shape. Sources say she felt her contributions were being minimized, that her role as a leader was suddenly being questioned. She allegedly said she had protected people, cleaned up messes, and carried storylines when others couldn't. Fans are shocked hearing that she felt replaceable after all these years. What hurt most, according to insiders, was the suggestion that newer faces could do what she did, with less baggage. That word, baggage, hung in the air like an insult no one could take back. As night fell, the meeting ended without resolution. No handshakes, no hugs, just people walking out in different directions. But the drama didn't stay behind closed doors for long. Within hours, cryptic posts appeared online. Rasheeda shared a quote about knowing your worth. Kirk posted a video in his car, eyes intense, saying sometimes you have to choose peace even when they want chaos. Yandy went silent, which fans know is never a good sign. Emotions ran high across social media as fans picked sides, arguing in comments, dissecting every word like detectives chasing the truth. Behind the scenes, phones kept ringing. Managers, lawyers, family members all tried to step in. Rasheeda's circle reportedly urged her to protect her mental health, reminding her that no show was worth her peace. Kirk's friends allegedly told him to stand his ground, that walking away might finally give him control of his narrative. Yandy's supporters said if she left, it would be on her own terms, not because someone decided her time was up. The family was left divided not just among cast members but among fans who felt personally invested in every outcome. The next day, tension followed them everywhere. Kirk and Rasheeda reportedly argued at home, not screaming, but quietly, which made it worse. Sources say Rasheeda asked Kirk if he was ready to let go of the spotlight, and Kirk didn't answer right away. That pause spoke volumes. Yandy, on the other hand, allegedly spent hours on calls, weighing options, calculating risks. Staying could mean more fights, more stress. Leaving could mean letting go of something she helped build. Emotions ran high as each decision felt heavier than the last. By the end of the week, rumors had turned into headlines. Blogs claimed firings. Others claimed walkouts. Fans are shocked by how fast everything escalated. Old clips resurfaced showing moments that now felt like warnings. Arguments that once seemed like TV drama suddenly looked like cracks forming years ago. Insiders say no final decision had been made yet, but the energy had shifted permanently. Trust was broken, expectations were shattered, and everyone involved knew that whatever came next would change everything. And just when it seemed like things couldn't get more intense, a new twist quietly began to form, one that would pull even more people into the chaos and push these relationships closer to a point of no return, as the fallout from that first meeting continued to ripple outward, dragging secrets, loyalties, and unfinished business into the spotlight, setting the stage for the next wave of drama that nobody was ready for. The fallout didn't slow down, it multiplied. What started as whispers turned into late-night calls and closed-door conversations that felt heavier than anything before. Sources claim that by the time the sun came up, the network had already begun quietly reaching out to other cast members, testing reactions, measuring loyalty. Fans are shocked learning that some people answered those calls eagerly, while others hesitated, afraid of being seen as disloyal. Emotions ran high as everyone realized this wasn't just about one couple or one boss figure anymore. This was about survival. Inside Kirk and Rasheeda's home, the tension was thick. No cameras, no producers, just raw emotion. Insiders say Rasheeda finally broke down, not in anger, but in exhaustion. She allegedly told Kirk she was tired of being strong in public while falling apart in private. Kirk reportedly paced the room, torn between pride and fear. He knew walking away could mean freedom, but it could also mean losing relevance, losing the platform that had defined their lives for years. The family was left divided even within their own walls, with kids sensing something was wrong but not fully understanding why their parents were so quiet. Meanwhile, Yandy's silence began to speak louder than words. Fans refreshed her page over and over, waiting for a clue, a hint, anything. When she finally posted a simple black screen with a broken heart emoji, the internet exploded. Emotions ran high as supporters flooded her comments, begging her not to let anyone push her out. Others speculated that the post was a goodbye. Sources close to Yandy say she felt betrayed not just by the network, but by people she once considered family. She allegedly questioned whether loyalty only mattered when it benefited someone else. Behind the scenes, a second meeting was scheduled, this time without the same friendly tone. Insiders claim lawyers were present. That alone changed everything. Conversations were sharper, more guarded. Kirk allegedly demanded clarity, asking directly if he and Rasheeda were being phased out. The response, according to sources, was vague enough to feel insulting. Phrases like, "We're still evaluating," and "Nothing is final," only fueled the fire. Rasheeda reportedly stayed composed, but her eyes told a different story. Fans are shocked hearing that she felt humiliated, like her years of vulnerability were being reduced to a numbers game. Yandy entered that meeting with a different energy. Sources say she was calm but firm, her voice steady as she listed her contributions, her sacrifices, her role in shaping the franchise. When someone suggested that her storyline had become predictable, emotions ran high. Yandy allegedly fired back that real life doesn't reset for entertainment. She reminded them of her family, her marriage, her kids, and how much she had shared already. The family was left divided as even some producers reportedly avoided eye contact, uncomfortable with how personal the conversation had become. Outside the boardroom, word leaked again. Blogs picked up fragments of conversations, twisting them into headlines that spread like wildfire. Fans argued nonstop, some accusing Kirk of always being the problem, others defending Rasheeda as a woman who deserved peace. Yandy's supporters clashed with critics who said no one was irreplaceable. Emotions ran high as every opinion felt like an attack. Cast group chats reportedly went silent, then erupted, then went silent again. Alliances that once seemed unbreakable began to crumble. At home, Rasheeda received calls from family members urging her to prioritize herself. One relative allegedly told her that no check was worth her sanity. Kirk, on the other hand, received messages telling him to fight, to remind everyone why he was still relevant. That split advice only deepened the conflict. Fans are shocked learning that Kirk and Rasheeda barely slept, staying up late discussing worst-case scenarios. Would they leave together? Would one stay while the other walked away? The questions felt endless. Yandy faced her own crossroads. Sources say she met privately with a trusted friend who asked her a hard question: if the show ended tomorrow, who would you be? That question reportedly shook her. She had built so much on and around the platform, but she also knew her identity was bigger than reality TV. Emotions ran high as she weighed pride against practicality. Leaving on her own terms sounded empowering, but the thought of being pushed out felt unacceptable. Then came another twist. A newer cast member allegedly made comments suggesting that change was overdue. Fans are shocked by how fast that clip went viral. Many saw it as disrespect, others as honesty. Rasheeda reportedly felt insulted, saying she had paved the way for people to even have a seat at the table. Kirk allegedly laughed it off publicly but fumed privately. Yandy saw it as proof that the culture had shifted, that loyalty had been replaced by ambition. As days passed, the pressure intensified. Producers pushed for decisions. Contracts sat unsigned. Deadlines loomed. Emotions ran high as every choice felt irreversible. Rasheeda reportedly prayed for clarity. Kirk wrestled with his ego. Yandy weighed silence against speaking out. Fans watched closely, dissecting every move, every like, every unfollow. And just when it seemed like the storm might settle, an unexpected phone call reignited everything. One call, made in confidence, allegedly revealed information that would change how everyone saw the situation, pulling past secrets back into the present and setting off a chain reaction that none of them could control as the drama continued to build, dragging them deeper into uncertainty with no clear way out. That phone call didn't just reopen wounds, it ripped them wide open. Sources say the call came late at night, when nerves were already raw and patience was gone. The voice on the other end allegedly belonged to someone Kirk never expected to hear from again, a person connected to an old controversy everyone thought had been buried. The message was simple but devastating. Certain things from the past were being discussed again behind closed doors, and Kirk's name was front and center. Fans are shocked hearing that moments Kirk believed were forgiven were suddenly being re-examined as potential liabilities. When Kirk shared this information with Rasheeda, the room reportedly went silent. No yelling, no accusations, just a heavy pause that felt endless. Rasheeda allegedly asked one quiet question: so they still see us as a problem? Emotions ran high because that question carried years of pain. She had forgiven publicly, defended privately, and stood firm when most people would have walked away. Now it felt like none of that mattered. The family was left divided emotionally, torn between anger and heartbreak. Word of the call spread quickly within the inner circle. Friends reached out, some offering support, others fishing for information. Kirk reportedly felt paranoid, wondering who he could trust. Rasheeda withdrew, canceling plans and avoiding calls. Fans noticed the change immediately. Her usual upbeat energy vanished, replaced by vague posts about protecting peace and knowing when to let go. Emotions ran high as supporters flooded her page, urging her to choose herself this time. Yandy, meanwhile, received her own version of the truth. Sources claim she was told that certain cast members had expressed concerns about her control over storylines. Fans are shocked hearing that people once protected by Yandy were now questioning her influence. That betrayal reportedly hit harder than anything the network said. Yandy allegedly confronted one of those individuals in a private call, her voice calm but cutting. She asked directly why loyalty suddenly had conditions. The response, according to insiders, was defensive and messy, full of excuses and half-apologies. As tensions escalated, a secret meetup allegedly took place between several cast members without Kirk, Rasheeda, or Yandy present. When word of this reached them, emotions ran high. It felt like a line had been drawn. Rasheeda reportedly said it reminded her of high school cliques, except the stakes were careers and reputations. Kirk saw it as proof that decisions were already being made without them. Yandy interpreted it as confirmation that her influence had threatened people more than she realized. Fans are shocked by how quickly sides began to form. Social media turned into a battlefield of theories and accusations. Some claimed Kirk's past had finally caught up with him. Others insisted Rasheeda was being punished for standing by her marriage. Yandy's name trended alongside words like boss move and disrespect in equal measure. Emotions ran high as everyone tried to control the narrative, knowing perception could determine their future. Behind the scenes, producers allegedly debated whether the drama itself was worth the fallout. Some argued that controversy was the heart of the show. Others worried about burnout, about pushing people too far. That internal conflict only added to the chaos. Kirk reportedly demanded transparency, saying he wouldn't be blindsided again. Rasheeda made it clear she wouldn't beg to stay anywhere she wasn't wanted. Yandy allegedly said she was done explaining her value to people who benefited from it. Family members began stepping in more aggressively. Rasheeda's relatives urged her to consider life beyond the show, reminding her of her businesses and independence. Kirk's family pushed him to protect his pride and his kids. Yandy's circle encouraged her to remember her power, telling her she didn't need permission to walk away. The family was left divided not just among cast, but within households, each voice pulling them in a different direction. Then came another unexpected twist. A leaked audio clip surfaced online, allegedly from a private conversation between two people involved in decision-making. While the clip was short and unclear, fans are shocked by what they thought they heard: mentions of fatigue, image, and moving on. Emotions ran high as the internet dissected every word, every tone. Some believed it confirmed everything Kirk, Rasheeda, and Yandy feared. Others dismissed it as fake. But the damage was done. Kirk reportedly reacted with anger, feeling exposed and manipulated. Rasheeda reacted with sadness, saying she felt disposable. Yandy reacted with resolve, telling friends that if this was how things were handled, she needed to rethink everything. Tensions reached a boiling point as deadlines approached. Contracts remained unsigned. Silence stretched longer than comfort allowed. As the pressure mounted, a final group call was scheduled, one last attempt to clear the air. Emotions ran high going into that call, with everyone bracing for impact. No one knew if it would bring closure or ignite another fire. What was clear, though, was that nothing could go back to how it was before. Trust had been shaken, loyalties questioned, and futures thrown into uncertainty. And as that call began, voices overlapping, frustrations spilling out, and truths finally being spoken without filters, it became clear that the next set of revelations would change relationships permanently, pushing everyone closer to a breaking point they might not be able to recover from, as the drama continued to unravel with no sign of slowing down. The group call started messy, voices overlapping, tension spilling through the speaker before anyone could take control. Someone tried to set ground rules, but emotions ran high and that effort collapsed almost instantly. Kirk's voice cut through first, sharp and defensive, accusing people of playing games with his life and his family. He said he was tired of being talked about like a headline instead of a human being. Rasheeda stayed quiet at first, listening, absorbing every word, until she finally spoke and the entire tone shifted. Her voice wasn't loud, but it carried weight. She said what hurt most wasn't the uncertainty, it was the disrespect. The idea that after all these years, her loyalty and vulnerability could be dismissed so easily left her questioning everything. Yandy jumped in next, calm but firm, making it clear she wasn't there to beg or explain herself anymore. She said she had watched people grow, watched them win, watched them fail, and she had stood by them regardless. Now she felt like the same grace wasn't being extended to her. Emotions ran high as she pointed out that leadership often gets mistaken for control, especially when it comes from a woman who refuses to shrink herself. That statement reportedly made the call go silent for a moment, the kind of silence that forces people to reflect even if they don't want to. Others on the call tried to smooth things over, suggesting compromise, suggesting time, suggesting patience. But patience was already gone. Kirk pushed back hard, saying patience had cost him his peace before. Rasheeda added that patience had cost her her emotional safety more times than she could count. The family was left divided in real time, with every sentence creating another crack. Fans would later say this call, if ever aired, would have been one of the most intense moments in the show's history. After the call ended without resolution, the fallout was immediate. Texts flew. Group chats exploded, then splintered into smaller ones. People who once laughed together now spoke through intermediaries. Emotions ran high as everyone tried to protect themselves, their image, and their future. Rasheeda reportedly told a close friend she felt lighter and heavier at the same time, lighter for finally saying her truth, heavier for realizing how deep the betrayal felt. Kirk reacted differently. Sources say he went into damage control mode, reaching out to allies, reminding them of shared history. But even he could feel the shift. Responses were slower, shorter, less warm. That realization hit hard. Fans are shocked hearing that Kirk began questioning whether the drama that once made him valuable was now the very thing pushing him out. Yandy took a step back completely. She stopped answering calls that didn't feel productive. Instead, she focused on her family, her businesses, and her mental health. Fans noticed her energy change. When she finally posted again, it wasn't emotional, it was deliberate. A photo of her smiling, standing tall, captioned with a line about knowing when to evolve. Emotions ran high as supporters praised her strength while critics accused her of being calculated. Yandy, according to insiders, didn't respond to either side. Another twist hit when rumors surfaced that replacements were already being discussed. Fans are shocked by how quickly names started circulating. Some potential newcomers were excited, posting subtle hints online. Others quickly denied involvement, afraid of backlash. Rasheeda reportedly felt insulted, saying it was one thing to consider change, another to parade it publicly before decisions were final. Kirk felt disrespected, saying it confirmed his fear that loyalty meant nothing. The family was left divided as even neutral parties were forced to pick sides by association. At home, Rasheeda and Kirk had one of their most honest conversations yet. No cameras, no audience, just truth. Sources say Rasheeda asked Kirk if he would choose her peace over his pride if it came down to it. Kirk didn't answer immediately, and that hesitation said everything. Emotions ran high as Rasheeda realized that regardless of what happened with the show, deeper issues still needed to be addressed. Fans would later say this moment felt like a turning point not just for their careers but for their marriage. Yandy faced her own defining moment when a trusted mentor told her that sometimes being first means being lonely. That advice stuck with her. She began preparing mentally for both outcomes, staying or leaving. Insiders say she started planning projects that didn't rely on reality TV, just in case. That move alone made some people nervous, realizing she might not need the platform as much as they assumed. As pressure from producers intensified, deadlines were pushed back one last time. Everyone knew the next step would be final. Emotions ran high as anticipation built. Fans refreshed blogs, checked stories, analyzed body language and old clips like they held hidden clues. The atmosphere felt charged, like the calm before a storm. And just when it seemed like decisions were about to be announced, another unexpected development emerged, one that involved someone from the past stepping forward with their own version of events, threatening to rewrite the narrative completely and force everyone to confront truths they had avoided for years, as the drama surged toward an even more explosive chapter. And now, after all the whispers, the confrontations, the betrayals, and the emotional breaking points, the biggest questions still hang in the air. Are Kirk and Rasheeda really ready to walk away from everything they helped build, or will they make one last stand and demand the respect they feel they deserve? Is Yandy truly done, choosing peace and power over chaos, or is this just the calm before her most calculated move yet? Fans are shocked because nothing has been confirmed, nothing has been denied, and that uncertainty is exactly what makes this moment so intense. Emotions ran high not just for the cast, but for everyone watching from the outside. Years of loyalty, growth, mistakes, forgiveness, and survival are all colliding at once. The family was left divided, friendships are hanging by a thread, and the future of love and hip-hop feels more unpredictable than ever. Some fans believe this is the end of an era. Others think this chaos will spark the most explosive season yet. And then there are those who believe the real story hasn't even been told yet. What happens next could change everything. Contracts could be signed or torn up. Apologies could be made or withheld. Alliances could be repaired or destroyed forever. One decision, one announcement, one post could flip the entire narrative overnight. And until that moment comes, all we're left with are questions, speculation, and the raw emotion that refuses to settle. Now it's your turn. Do you think Kirk and Rasheeda are being pushed out unfairly, or has the show truly moved on from them? Is Yandy making the smartest power move of her career, or is she walking away from something she helped create? Whose side are you on, and who do you think is really pulling the strings behind the scenes? If this story had you locked in from start to finish, make sure you hit that like button because it lets us know you want more deep dives like this. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss a single update as this drama continues to unfold in real time. And most importantly, drop a comment right now and tell us what you think is really going on, because your voice matters just as much as the headlines. Stay tuned, stay ready, because in the world of love, hip-hop, and reality TV, the next shock update is always closer than you think.